The new abilities in the Wrath of the Druids DLC are amazing and you can use them in many instances, but the smoke bomb arrow in particular has a ton of secret uses that you might not know about. And well, if you don't have rank 2 yet, then maybe wait with that and do not grab the Book of Knowledge, and I will tell you why in this video. So really a ton to go over. A like on the video would of course really help me out. And let's go. As previously announced, Pedro won my previous giveaway for 2,300 Helix credits and he now tweeted about it. And you still have a bit of time to enter my current giveaway via the link in the pinned comment. But this will be my final Helix credit pack giveaway for the foreseeable future. We'll be starting a Season Pass giveaway instead. So stay tuned for that. Now let's go in depth on that most interesting new Wrath of the Druids ability, the Smoke Bomb Arrow. And you find the first book over here on the map. You likely already have it if you started the DLC, because you will go to this raid location for an early main story mission. Grab the book and then you have rank 1 of the ability, which is easy to understand and already really powerful. You shoot it for 1 adrenaline bar, fill the area with smoke, which will then stun the enemies inside the smoke for quite a long time. And as showed you in my sickle video, I then just went in with fire on my blades, do the left hand attack, and then you very easily take out super high health enemies on the very hard difficulty. Like, you can even take out multiple weaker enemies after each other because of how long the stun effect lasts. Making it way better than the Viking Salute ability, by the way, which we'll go more in depth on in a future video. But the smoke bomb is of course also great for stealth. If you shoot it in a group of enemies and run away, you can very easily go back into the shadows again and start assassinating these targets instead. Or when there are 2 enemies close to each other that would see you if you went out of your hiding spot, you can drop down the smoke bomb arrow instead and run up to one of those targets to assassinate them, and they can very likely kill the other one too with the chain assassination. So this can really help you with the royal demands if you have to remain undetected or take no damage at all. And also amazing is that with an assassinate you very easily get the adrenaline spent on the ability back. Just like with the left hand sickle combo, you're dealing so many hits and killing the enemies that easily that you get even more adrenaline that you spend for using the smoke bomb ability. So it's really powerful. Only the moment you upgrade the ability to rank 2, this stun tactic and the stealth possibilities become more limited. So first things first, you find this second ability book over here on the map in Ulster in a small camp where you also go for some later Druids main story missions. It might be hard to find how you actually get the book though. Took me some time to figure it out, but there's a breakable wall on the side, so run past the small house, jump down, and there is where you will see it. Blow up the wall, follow the tunnel, and then you will find the ability, although again, not sure if you want to grab it, because it completely alters the ability. When you namely light the smoke on fire after having Smoke Bomb Arrow rank 2, you trigger an explosion that deals fire damage to all surrounding enemies. And sure, this can be nice. For example, you can drop down the smoke bomb arrow to stun the enemies and then immediately grab the torch and throw that torch to trigger the explosion. Especially against weaker enemies, the fire will easily take them out. The problem is though that if there's a torch nearby or any other fire source, the smoke bomb will immediately trigger the fire explosion after you shoot it. So then it's really hard to use for stealth because the enemies will simply not be stunned anymore because they're hit by this explosion. You basically lose control because it's sometimes hard to see if there's a fire source nearby. So then you think, okay, I'm getting the smoke bomb, but then there is still something that can trigger the fire explosion. Also, the left-hand sickle tactic with fire on the weapons is not possible if you have rank 2 of this ability, because the moment you walk into the smoke with fire on your weapon, the explosion goes off. So I prefer to have no surprises and just know that I'm like dropping down this smoke bomb. So I'm sticking with rank 1 for my main save. But to be fair, if you already have rank 2, you should not feel bad. There are namely a ton of fun things you can do with the fire explosion, and I also want to talk about something I hope Ubisoft implements and how you can help with making that clear. But first, some cool things, like you can destroy breakable walls with rank 2 of the smoke bomb arrow. So drop the clouds before one of these walls, then throw a torch and the wall will break. And sure, you can also use the incendiary powder trap ability, which is still a bit easier, but if you were only using that ability for the breakable walls, you can now maybe change it for another ability, so basically have one empty slot in the ability wheel and use the smoke bomb arrow for these walls instead. In combat, it's mostly an offensive ability now that you can trigger in many ways. You can, for example, also shoot an enemy that already has the burn effect to instantly have the fire explosion trigger, and the enemy doesn't have to be fully burning yet for the bomb to explode. Super satisfying, by the way. Activating Fire Strike inside a cloud will also trigger the bomb, just like, again, when walking in with a torch or with fire on your weapons. But also, and this is a ton of fun, when triggering the perk from the Sepulchre Axe. This weapon, of course, goes on fire after doing a crit. So if you put down the smoke bomb, then start hitting the enemies and get a crit, you get fire on the blade and the bomb explodes as well, dealing a ton of damage in the area. And this should of course also work with the new Egyptian Kopaz sword from the Dublin trading system. But even more fun is using the nameless two-handed sword from the Knight of the Round Table pack, which of course has the Breath of Fire when your left hand attack hits the enemy. So drop down the bomb, charge in, and then bam, a lot of enemies catch fire at the same time. Really awesome. Really hope we see this weapon at Reda at some point. You would think so, right? I will be keeping an eye out. So overall, the point is that both versions of this ability are really great in their own way. So it would be awesome if there was a feature that would let us revert back to some older versions of abilities. Would also be nice for the Poison Strike, for example, that now immediately drops the Poison Cloud, making it hard to see. And I already saw Arshak on Twitter from AC Landmarks, a link to that Twitter account, which has a ton of cool history facts, by the way, in the video description. So I thought, let's also make a tweet like this, so Ubisoft knows that we want this feature, and then hopefully it will be introduced in a future update. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. So I made a completely new tweet. I will link to it in the pinned comment. If you can like or retweet it so more people can see it and Ubisoft will notice it, then that would be amazing. So hopefully they react to that. I will of course keep an eye out, because especially with the smoke bomb arrow, it becomes clear that we need a feature like this. So I will report back when we know more. Of course, subscribe for everything Assassin's Creed Valhalla if you haven't already. A like on the video would really help me out. And totally check out that in-depth video on the new sickle swords by clicking on the screen, or I will link to it at the end of our photo mode showcase. You can of course send in your shots, especially from the Druids DLC, via the Valhalla Raptor hashtag on Twitter, or via my dedicated pictures channel on the Discord. And you can join the Discord via the link in the pinned comment. Be sure that you accept the rules, and then you are able to post. Okay, Joyce, come in, photo mode expert here on the channel. You already spent a ton of time in the Druids DLC in the photo mode, right?
Yes, but there are also some awesome pictures from talented people. So yeah, let's start with Nathan over on Twitter, who's competing in a casual race with a cat in Dublin while riding the new Lynx mount. Looks like they're having a real fun time, although the Lynx still got its poker face.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's enjoying the ride.
At least the cat is having fun, I guess.
Yeah. Nice shot nonetheless. Up next is Sariel, and I hope I pronounced this right, over on Discord, where Eivor and the good doggo have a moment here while the sun hides behind a foggy background. The Irish Wolfhound is of course a new ability Eivor can use, and I really love this shadow silhouette composition here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for a lot of pictures with this new Wolfhound, but this is totally a lovely variant of that, so thanks a lot for sharing.
And finally, we've got Valen, who took this vertical portrait shot of a werewolf using its growl to make itself known. I think this is one of my favorite new enemy types in the DLC, because they can be very tough if you don't watch out.
Yeah, for sure. Like, they can just jump on you. It's always kind of scary when they do their charge attack. So really cool. And they can be quite tough, and that's totally what Valhalla was missing. So thanks for the shots, and of course, subscribe for way more Valhalla content. Totally check out our previous video by clicking on the screen. And for now, we will speak to you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.